Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of Gunman. So today we're going to be doing a review and demonstration on the new 3M Performance Spray Gun. As usual, we're not going to be spending much time mucking around. I ain't got time for that. We're just going to get straight into it, have a look at what it looks like and what it feels like in the hand. Then we're going to take it straight in the booth, get it wet, and start spraying with it. So the first thing that I noticed when I picked this gun up was the weight, and it's ultra lightweight. So apparently it's made out of nylon, but then it's also got stainless steel shards in it. And that's something that my 3M rep told me. And then, because I've always got one of those collab blades in my pocket and they've got a magnet on the back of them. So I pulled it out, put it up against the gun, and sure enough, it does actually have a very weak magnetic attraction to the gun. But that's not why it was done. It was actually done to stop the gun from getting static electricity up to it. I did actually notice when I was cleaning one of the nozzles out one time, I decided to give it a quick wipe down with a rag, and the nozzle itself did get statically attracted, and all the little fibers and particles from that rag just stuck to the nozzles. So I think that's something that's worth keeping in mind, to avoid wiping them down with rags where possible. But we're going to get a little bit further into the cleaning later on in the video. For now, we're just having a bit of a look at the kit, and it's also worth mentioning that the only way that you can use this gun without the PPS2 kit is if you have the pressure pot setup. So this gun is actually available in a pressure pot setup. But apart from that, look, I would say most people, especially in the automotive game, are going to be wanting to use the PPS2 system, and if you don't have it, you won't be able to use it. But all that aside, as I always do when I get a new spray gun, first thing I do is just go out to my spray fan, put some thinners through it, and get a basic idea of the size of the fan and how it's going to spray. And I knew straight away that this thing was going to be fine to go straight into the booth and clear with. So the very first job that I sprayed with this was a flow coat on a Honda Bonner. I actually already did a short first impressions video on that job, and I must say I was very impressed early, and I'm still impressed, to be honest. So I've been using this gun for a good 3 weeks. I really did want to give this gun here a little bit more time than usual before I did my full review on this gun, and that's mainly because the selection of tip sizes, I guess, and also because it's so different and the new thing from 3M as well. And I know I just didn't want to go and miss something, I guess, and I didn't want to go and overlook an important possible fault or something like that. And look, as I say, I've been using it for 3 weeks now, and yeah, the basic premise behind this gun is that you've got the one handle of the gun, and you can go from your 1.2 mil, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8 or 2 mil tips on it, and change the fluids that you're spraying with it. So you can, at the start of this video, you saw me spraying some non-sanding primer, or sealer, what they call in America, and that was through the 1.2. What you see me spraying now is machine grey, and that's through the 1.3. And in a few minutes, I'm going to be spraying the clear coat, also with the 1.3. But this job here, I've actually got all the footage to do a full video on this job here. So it's a machine grey CX9 or something like that. But I actually primed this job with the same gun. So I primed it with the 1.4 because it was a thinner primer. I didn't need high build. But if I did need high build, you've got the 1.8 or the 2 mil. So there's definitely some advantages to this gun here. You could say, well, you know what? I don't want to have 5 or 10 spray guns hanging around. I'll have this alongside a minigun. That's pretty much the only thing that this doesn't do. Like, for spraying wheels, it's not going to be absolutely ideal because it's not a minigun, and I probably shouldn't be giving them these ideas for free, but I don't see any reason that they couldn't do a adapter, like a air cap and a front nozzle that is a spot repair spray gun. So I probably deserve some royalties if they do end up making that one day down the track. Another thing worth mentioning is that it only comes in HBLP. So all of the air caps are HBLP. So to some people, that's going to be a deal breaker. That's going to be a total stay away. And originally going into this gun, I was thinking, hey, this could be good for those at home. But then when I found out that it was HBLP, I'm like, no. Look, if you're spraying at home, I've done videos on this before, stay away from this gun. One of the first things I noticed when I went into the spray booth with this gun was that I actually didn't even have enough air up to my regulator to even power this gun. So most of the time I set my wall regulator at the spray booth to 60 psi, and that's usually enough to, well, it is actually enough to get 2 bar out of every other spray gun I have. Every single other spray gun I use on the daily, but it wasn't enough to even get this one up to 2 bar. I had to go out, turn that regulator on the spray booth up to even get this thing up to 2 bar. That is how much air that this uses. So yeah, they do actually recommend on the gun itself. So 3M recommends spraying this thing at 20 psi. I don't. At the end of the day, there's a finish that I need to get, and if that's going to mean that I have to spray at 2 bar or 29 psi, so be it. I don't think I'm going to get this nice finish down the side of this car with 20 psi. So what I did actually do the blends with 20 psi. That worked totally fine, so it kept the color contained. But even when I was filling in the color, I used it at sort of 1.8 bar, which I guess is like 26, 27 psi, something like that, when I was doing my color. But then clear coat, 29 psi the whole way. As for the rest of the settings, I just ended up using the ones that my 3M rep recommended. So as it turned out, he was with the Axalta rep from Perth just a couple of days prior to giving me this gun. They were playing around with it using Stando Blue, but yeah, they were pretty impressed with it. So Matt from Axalta here in WA said that he was pretty impressed with it. But the rest of the settings that they were telling me to give a shot was to wind the fan into full rotation. So have it at full fan, wound right out, and then wind it into full turns. Look, I just did it because that's what they recommended, but at the end of the day, I didn't actually find that it did much. I couldn't even see that it was making the fan any smaller. So, look, some guns are like that, to be honest. Some guns actually take like 2.5 or 3 turns until you actually start making that fan any smaller. And I think that, because I actually played around with it one time, and I reckon this gun here is still at full fan with 2 full turns in. I reckon it's like 2.5 turns until you start getting a smaller fan out of it. But personally, I like a nice big fan anyway. You get more coverage, less passes, you get to move quicker, and yeah, I've always liked a nice big fan. You can make a big fan smaller, but you can't make a small fan bigger. That's one thing I've always said. I'm sure you guys also noticed that it's got a nice full even fan. So what you see with some of the cheaper spray guns is that you'll have like dead spots or like dead zones in that fan where you'll have like nothing but air coming out for whatever reason. It's obviously to do with the manufacturing of the air passages and the fluid tip up the front of the spray gun, but it's like the machining hasn't been done quite right, so you'll get these dead zones in them. The one that comes to mind first is the Air Gunza Impact. That was really bad for it. They were, yeah, terrible guns as far as I'm concerned, and really not worth the money. I was able to make them work, but they were really bad for that. So hats off to 3M for being able to make a plastic spray gun spray better than some of the metal ones out there. And these tips here are ultra fast to clean. Have a look at this. This is obviously some base coat color. So for me to disassemble, clean, and reassemble that spray gun, let's have a look at the time. A quick wipe over that needle. And that's it, 40 seconds. I reckon the extra 2 seconds was the time it took for me to hit pause on that stopwatch timer. So there you go, mate. 40 seconds to fully strip and clean and reassemble a spray gun is absolutely incredible. And that has been probably my favorite part of using this gun. So look, my verdict on this is that it's a very good spray gun. It sprays very well. It seems to last. Like, I know it's plastic, but I have still yet to have one of these nozzles or air caps. I'm yet to have one of them stop working on me. So I've been using it, as I said at the start, for 3 full weeks. I've been using the primers in 1.8s. I've been using the 1.3 most. So I've been using that for most of my base coats, most of my clear coats. It would easily be above 50 cleans and it's still going strong. So what's my verdict? Do I give it the yes, the no, or the maybe? Well, I'm giving it the maybe as far as buying. Look, I wouldn't buy it for the simple fact that the nozzles need replacing. I would only get it if my boss said, you know what, I'm going to be replacing those nozzles for you. Okay, sweet. Then I could see myself getting it. But even then, I would say, well, you can buy the gun. If you want me to use this gun, you buy it, because I've got another, 15 or 20 DeVilbises, SATAs, and iWatters, which I'm happy using. I mean, it does take an extra minute or so to clean them, but if you're already using the PPS, it doesn't really take that long to clean a standard spray gun anyway. So I do actually really like that high pressured spray gun cleaner. But yeah, look, to be honest, my favorite thing about it is how easy it is to clean them. I don't even use the recycled gun cleaning machine anymore. Like, I think that this gun actually has big potential. No, not everyone's going to use it, but I think that there will be some of those big shops, some of those smart repair shops that are going to get onto it, where every minute or two makes a difference to them, and they really want to cut down on their labor times. So I do see it having a bit of a future, and I think that lots of people are going to use and love it. But is it going to be for everybody? No. Another thing that I would like to say is that it doesn't have any soul. So I thought about this last week when I was at work. Like, I've got so many spray guns, all those limited edition DeVilbiss, SATAs, and iWatters. Some of them are just, like, they are so cool. They look so good, and they are literally works of art, these spray guns are. But this gun here, it ain't got no soul. So yeah, like, it performs really well. It does your primers, like pretty much everything that you can think of, as I say, except for your spot repairs. It's not going to be ideal because it's got nearly too big of a fan for that. So if you want to do your wheels and spot repairs, you'd probably still want to use your spot repair gun. But apart from that, it will take just about anything you throw at it. But hey, look, you do you, baby. I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't buy. Personally, I think they're a little bit expensive. So now I can only really go on the prices that I've seen them go for. And I've seen them go for $500 just for the base handle of the gun. So that's without any nozzles. There was one kit that must have come with like a bit of a range of some of the tips, so the fluid tips and air caps. And it was like around $1,000, which to me, you could do much better. Like, you could go get yourself an FLG5, get that in 1.8 for your primer gun, got that base covered, get yourself an ANI R150 in 1.2 for your spot repairs, got that base covered. Then you get yourself a DeVilbiss GDI Pro Light in 1.3, you've got all those 3 bases covered. And that'll probably come in at a similar price than that performance spray gun. As I say, that may vary depending on where you are and what kind of a deal you can get. But at the prices that I saw them on eBay Australia, I think they're a little bit overpriced. But as I say, I do love them. They've been giving me some great results. They're nice and fast, really good for the smash shop, but I can't imagine those doing custom paint work or restoration being that impressed with them, because as I said before, they are HBLP. They're only available in HBLP. I don't see any reason why they couldn't release a conventional air cap for it. But that's pretty much my lowdown on the gun. Is it great? Does it spray well? Yes, absolutely. But I guess it's kind of like the SATA thing with me. Like, I'm not going to go and recommend you guys to go and spend $1,500 or even $1,200 on a SATA jet when I think that it sprays just as well as the $500 Pro Light. I've been like that through my entire career here on YouTube, and that hasn't changed. I'm just going to tell you guys how it is and how it is from my opinion. I literally just had a comment on one of my SATA phaser videos, so that gun is literally worth $1,500 Australian, and he's trying to tell me that that is chicken feed because painters can make over 100 grand a year. Well, I don't know, man. Some people have got mortgages and kids and lives and more important things to spend their money on than $1,500 spray guns. And don't get me wrong, if you want to spend $1,500 on a spray gun, I really don't care. I could not care less. I say all power to you, mate. You do whatever you like. And look, I can see that it's not the worst thing that you could be spending your money on. I used to go and blow that kind of money on the weekend, you know, when I used to be a bit younger and more stupid. But if I'm going to recommend something on its own merits, it's not going to be that $1,500 spray gun, which does the same as the $500 gun. I would also like to let you guys know that this is 100% independent content. I do get these products sent out for free for the purpose of review, but I have maintained my integrity and honesty throughout the entire journey of doing these YouTube videos. I'm not saying that I've got everything right along the way, but at the time it's always been my honest opinion. Another thing I'd like to let you guys know is that I've never gone out of my way to contact any companies for any sponsorship deals. They've always contacted me, and if they wanted to send something out, I said, yep, send it out. You're going to get an unbiased review, and you are taking a risk by sending something out to me. That's just worth keeping in mind when you watch any of my videos. It's not me going out trying to get stuff for free. It's always been them coming to me. 3M actually offered me money to do this review. They did say that they wanted independent and honest, authentic content. Then they also said, here's the list of things that you can and can't do. They said things that you're not allowed to like show any other spray guns in the video. So it's like, well, you want promotional material then. That's not what I do. So I said, no, I don't like it. I renegotiated and I ended up saying I don't want anything. So yeah, they basically said that you weren't even allowed to mention other spray guns in the video. And I spent time in this video talking about 3 or 4 different brands of spray guns. I think being able to compare a spray gun to another spray gun is relevant to a spray gun review. So look, if you do appreciate that, I've never been an e-beggar. I don't like Patreon personally, but again, if you want to go and support other people on Patreon, you go for it. But if you want to support this channel, the best way to do that is just go and buy some of our merch. We've got awesome spray suits. We've got some other things, actually some better merch coming soon, but that is the best way to support this show if you want to take it to the next level. But as I always say, watching is more than enough to keep me happy. Share the video around if you so wish. And until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.